All right, everybody. I will be joined shortly by the one, the only two division current reigning unified minimum weight champion, Seniesa Estrada, yada, 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 ahead of her upcoming undisputed title fight with Yo Castavalle. Shout out to Joe. Shout out to the West Coast, you know what I mean, for setting it up. Very big fight, very important fight. Arguably the most important fight the division will have seen in a very long time. Senicia should be joining us at or around 12 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Western. If you're on the West Coast, shout out to the West Coast. I just thought I would go live a little early to set the mood, set the tempo, let y'all know the rules of engagement. This is a fan Q&A, which means if you have a question that you would like me to ask Senicia, you must send it in the form of a super chat because my eyes are going to be fixed on the screen. The way I'll know somebody has a question is if the color icon comes up in the chat, at which point I'll read your question, you'll give me some beer money, and I will then go drink the beer with the money that you gave me. Shout out to beer. And we got a great fight, great show later on. William Zepeda, Maxie Hughes. I do have William Zepeda winning that fight, just for those that don't know. I do have William outworking him and overwhelming him. William is a fighter that throws a whole lot of punches in a round, a whole lot of punches. Whereas Maxie is more economic, likes to move around, not really big on power. I don't think he's going to be able to keep William out or off of him. So I have William stopping him perhaps in the mid to late rounds. There's also a cruiserweight contender, Tristan Calcaruth. Interesting character. I've seen a few of his fights. He's going to be fighting. And cruiserweight is alive and well right now. There's a lot going on there. Very interesting. Lots of good fighters there. Zerto Ramirez is going to try to become a champion there very soon. We know that there are already several champions there. Noel Gavor holding the WBC, Jayo Pataya potentially reclaiming the IBF. Chris Billum Smith holding the WBO. Arsene Goulamarian's got the WBA, but we'll see for how long. Shout out to Real Talk. Shout out to Old Dirty. Shout out to Timmy. We out here, yo. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I wanted to do a Q&A with Senicia ahead of her upcoming undisputed title tilt. I've already sent her the link. She should be joining us in approximately little under 20 minutes. You know, I just wanted to set the tempo, set the rules of engagement. We out here. We out here. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, man, we got a good card all the way later on. It's my understanding that Joe Joyce is fighting today too. He's fighting on a Queensbury show that I believe is available here in America on their YouTube channel. I don't think it was picked up by ESPN, but I do think the card is available on Queensbury's YouTube channel, either TNT or one of them. And he's fighting Cash Ali. He came in very, very, very heavy for this fight. He's a big guy, but he came in heavy. Even for him, he came in heavy. So I don't really know, how to interpret that. Given Joe's pedigree and the fighters that he's fought so far, what he can do, he should be able to make it past Cash Ali. He should be able to. And Joe's a good fighter. You can't let the Zile Zhang fights convince you that because Zhang beat him, everybody's going to do that. Everybody's not going to do that. Joseph Parker couldn't do that, and Joseph Parker just beat Zhang. So that's boxing math. I told y'all ahead of the fight, don't count Joseph Parker out because triangle theories don't work. Just because Zhang beat Joe and just because Joe beat Joseph doesn't mean Zhang beats Joseph. Sometimes it breaks down like that. Shout out to Old Dirty. Let's get the ball rolling, boys. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. And there's a lot going on. There's a lot going on right now. The trolls is trolling. The boxing is boxing. It is what it is. Got my coffee cup here with my coffee in it. Shout out to my man Real Talk. I'm with you, old dirty. And shout out to Michael, who's always hating. Just like Real Talk says that Michael's always hating, bro. He has to stop hating. I don't understand why he be hating like that. That's not necessary, bro. Stop hating, Michael, and speak more French. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, yo, we out here. And just a couple of questions for Seniesa ahead of the undisputed title fight pertaining to her injury, her recovery. What does she think of Yokasta Valle? Is Yokasta the best fighter that she will have fought so far? How does she evaluate her as an opponent? You know how it goes. You know. Michael, you got to stop hating, bro. Speak more French, bro. Come on, bro. You got to stop hating, bro. All right? I'm getting a lot of emails about how much you be hating, bro. You got to stop that, yo. You know what I'm saying? Stop hating, bro. But yeah, yo, and the next big card I'm waiting for, I said it in the last live, that the next big card I'm waiting for is the undisputed title fight at heavyweight. That's the one for me. That's the one I have on the calendar that I'm waiting on the most. I've been waiting a long time to see an undisputed champion crowned at heavyweight. You could make the same argument about minimum weight and Senesia's next fight. I'm just really confident in her that she'll win that fight. I've been very confident in her that she'll win that fight. I'm actually surprised that we're here because I thought that Yokasta would not take the fight. I thought Yokasta was kind of just waiting her out, maybe waiting on Senesia to move up. So I'm actually surprised, pleasantly surprised, that we're getting that fight and that it's made and that it's here. Didn't think it was going to happen because I didn't think Yokasta really wanted it. And I questioned whether or not she would cross the street if that's what it came to, that if she had to go to top rank to do it, would she do it? And credit to her for doing it, that she's taking her on. But I have Seniesa winning that fight. That's a very easy pick for me. Seniesa is just many levels above her. They have about 4 to 5 common opponents, Seniesa and Yokasta. And Seniesa consistently outperforms Yokasta Valle. Not to say that Yokasta's not a good fighter. She's a very good fighter. She's very accomplished herself. She's a 3 division champion, unified. She is very accomplished, but there's levels. Senicia is a level above. So shout out to the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And yeah, we out here, yo. We out here. Out here, we doing it, yeah. And after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a nap because I'm old. Shout out to my man Shelton Moore. He in the building. He in the building. Marderosian is Marderosian. What about Marderosian? Yo, you the best, bro. Thank you for all the hard work. Appreciate your spotlight. Appreciate you, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Michael because Michael got to stop hating, bro. He got to stop hating. You know what I'm saying? You got to stop hating, bro. Got to stop all that hating. Other fights that I would like to see. Uh, William Zepeda, who's fighting later on today, he's a very interesting character. I know that the fight is not the least bit realistic, but I just wouldn't mind seeing him against the winner of Rayo versus De Los Santos. I know that he's with Golden Boy and they're with PBC. I get it, but it's just guys got to fight each other. Guys got to fight each other. You don't want it to get predictable or mundane where people expect you not to fight, and because they expect you not to fight, they get complacent, uninterested, and stop paying attention. You got to make waves, you got to make stuff happen. Heavyweight is so talked about right now because of the fights that are happening, that Zhang didn't have to fight Parker and Parker didn't have to fight Zhang, but they did it, and we got a great fight out of it, and it was a good fight, a good win for Joseph. And you got to keep that momentum going. You don't ever want it to get to the point where people are already, I guess, jumping to conclusions because they expect you not to fight. You want people to stay interested and stay excited. The best way to do that is to keep the fights going. I don't actually think that Rayo versus De Los Santos needs a rematch, but the story is that they're having one. I don't think it needed a rematch, but I remember De Los Santos cleaning his clock. That's how I remember it. But hey, they're running it back, and I can only hope that after that, maybe they put the winner of that fight in the ring with somebody on some other side of the street, because fighters are leaving. What I told you would happen is happening. Michelle Rivera left the PBC. Some other guy left him. I forgot his name. Young guy, unbeaten guy. It looks like Rashidi Ellis is done with them. He went to that team sport, that team combat league where they do boxing like a tag team match. He went to that. So I kind of feel like, yeah, I guess he done with them, after that loss to Roman Villa. I think that was a year ago too, man. Iki train Bam versus Ayala, then then JCM. I don't understand what he's saying. Michael Hunter is such a wasted career. Well, didn't Boxer sign him or something like that, bro? Didn't they say like a year ago that they signed him, but they didn't actually use him for nothing? I remember something like that. That they signed him, but then they didn't make any fights for him. I think it was the same with Huey Fury too. They signed Huey Fury, but I think he had to pull out of a fight sick, and he never actually fought under the banner. Beansman, Floyd, J.R. Sampson are all in. All right, EK Tran, you can go be weird by yourself, bro. That's the thing about these weirdos. They don't want to be weird by themselves. They want the world to be the stage for their weirdness. No, bro. I don't want to watch you act weird. Go be weird by yourself. I hate that about today's era. Everything is treated like it's a stage. Truth fights on Hunter? Hunter fights on Pro Box. Yeah, I mean now I think he does, but a little over a year ago, I remember that Boxer said they signed him or something like that. They never actually used him though. They didn't use him for nothing, but they said that they signed him. Yeah, Chris, you know how it be, yo. That dudes come on here like they be in the chat acting all weird and all of that. Like, what is the issue, fam? Like, go be weird by yourself, bro. I don't want to be a party to that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Real Talk. Michael likes two bomb pops at one time. Shout out to Michael, who's always hating. Michael always hating, bro. You gotta stop hating, bro. Gotta stop hating, Michael. But yeah, yo, it's just a lot of these dudes. They just be wanting everybody to like react to their weirdness. I can only deduce that, well, to some, social media is an escape from their day-to-day comings and goings where they perhaps don't get interactions, so they pursue them in a digital environment, but they're socially inept and awkward, so they just end up behaving like trolls. And I'm 41 years old, bro. I don't have time or patience for silliness, I don't have time for that. Be weird by yourself. I am old. You know what I'm saying? Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah. Yeah, already sent the link out, so hopefully she got it. She'll be arriving shortly. You can address your questions to her in the form of a super chat that will put beer money in my pocket. Shout out to beer money. Base the kid, what it do? You want me to get you an address? An address? Bro, you gotta ask for that. Don't come to me. That's like if somebody came to me and said, yo, you know where Base live at? I ain't just gonna tell them. That's rules of the streets. Base? I don't know nobody named Base. What you asking me about him for? I'm trying to protect you, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why we don't use governments. To this day, I haven't gotten used to people calling me by my government name. It's just not something we do. You know what I'm saying? It's not something we do. I'm not used to people saying, "Hey, Julius." I'm not used to that. Like, "Hey." I'm not used to that. Trying to tell you, Base. If somebody came to me and they said, "Yo, you got Base," I ain't just gonna give it to him. I gotta protect Base. Like, huh? What you talking about? How you figure I got it? How you figure you can ask me for it? That's his joint. I gotta protect him. You see what I mean? I gotta like, yo, you got so and so phone. You're like, nah, I ain't just gonna be giving that out. That's privileged information. You need clearances, bro. Government clearances, bro. Secret, top secret, Delta, Kappa, Alpha, all the good stuff, bro. Nah, for real. Can't just be. That's what I'm saying. Eso no se hace. Si yo tengo el número de teléfono tuyo, eso no es para que yo se lo dé a todo el mundo, no es verdad. No, I gotta protect the information. Gotta protect, yo. And yeah, yo. You know what I'm saying? Can't just be giving that out. That's confidentiality, yo. Privileged information. This mic is crazy. It's a little bit too loose. Might get a new one, even though this is a new one. It's just as pompous and snobby as I want it to be. And yeah, yo, you know how I go, bro. I'm not used to that, man. I had to get used to that. People calling me by my government. Hey, Julius, how are you doing? I'm fine. How are you? I had to get used to that. That's not normal. Not for me. But yeah, yo, you know how it go. You know how it is. You gonna watch the Queensbury? I'm gonna catch Joe's fight. I might look at Nathan Heaney's fight if he hasn't fought already to see if he could build on what he did with Denzel Bentley. He kind of pitched a shutout with Denzel Bentley. I think Denzel only won like 1, 2 rounds in a fight. I was surprised because Heaney was really boxing his socks off, moving and punching, setting traps. Shout out to him. You know what I mean? The two fights on that card that I'm most interested in is Nathan Heaney's fight and Joe Joyce's fight. But Joe's fight, you know what it is. It's a rebound fight. If they putting you in there with Cash Ali, don't forget who Cash Ali is. Cash Ali is the dude that bit David Price right on his chest, bro. Like you ain't bite him on the arm or nothing like a zombie. You bit him on the chest. You want some wild shit. That dude is crazy. This is the first undercard fight. Heaney. Oh, really? I didn't even know. Jules, did you get a new soundboard? Not yet. I'm waiting, bro. I told you, until I see something that really is an improvement upon, I'm not just gonna get out. I'm not just gonna run out and get one to get one. I want it to be an improvement upon. So I actually want to either go to Guitar Center or just visit their website, which I still haven't done. I could, but I actually like to go try the equipment out, see how it feels. If I like it, does it feel like quality? You see what I mean? That's what I like to do. And yeah, yo, scientific research. You know what I'm saying? Got to do the research, yo. Damn, when is St. Patrick's Day? Is that coming up? St. Patrick's Day? That's not old, bro. You want to know what you paying for? It's like if I like a brand, right? If I'm not familiar with a brand and I don't know them like that, I won't buy their stuff online. Now, if I know the brand, like say Levi's or Aeropostale or American Eagle, if I'm familiar with the brand and I've already made many purchases, well, then I'll just purchase online because I know what I need to know. But when it comes to other stuff, yeah, yo, I gotta go have a look. I gotta look at it. I gotta see if it's good. Feel me? It's tomorrow. Oh, that card is tomorrow? I thought it was today. I thought it was today. It's nah, it's tomorrow in Australia. The one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, Ania Estrada. How you doing?
Hey, nice to see you.
How you been?
Good, good. Just training hard, tired every day, but it's gonna be all worth it.
So the first question I have is in reference to the injury and the subsequent surgery. How long were you sporting that injury? Did it happen in the Udica fight or did it happen before that and you was just like nursing it basically like it was from fight to fight?
Yeah, so it happened in the fight. I tore a ligament, which also chipped off a piece of bone. And then when I got my MRI and X-rays and all of that, they noticed that I already had damage in that area. So I had a bone cyst growing in between my index finger and my middle finger. And I also had a small fracture that was already there. So there was just a piece of bone in there that was chipped off. So I didn't know that that was there previously. And yeah, so I kind of I had a whole combination of things go wrong with my hand in that area. So tore ligament during the fight, and I think the second round, and then found out that I also had other damage that was just there.
Mm-mm. And when you punched in the fight, you felt sharp pain in the hand because of the ligament tear?
Yes, I felt it. I felt it. I think I threw a right hook to the body, which like hit her elbow, and that's how I injured it. And I felt I felt the pain right away just shoot up my hand, and I knew something was wrong. I knew that whatever it was going to require surgery. I
Mm,
already knew that in my head right away.
mm. And now that you've had the surgery, just how does it feel now? Is it a relief from the way that it felt that night?
Definitely. Uh, the pain, yeah, the pain that I felt that night. I think even after training and after sparring, I do still have some pain, but that's normal. The doctor said, of course, I'm going right back into contact and into punching, so he can't guarantee that my hand will ever feel 100% because of that. But I just continue to do my therapy every week. I do therapy on my hand 3 to 4 times a week. I ice it, use cold, heat, just strength exercises, just a whole combination of things to make sure that my hand feels 100% every day. So, yeah, I think I've been boxing for almost 23 years, and that's been my only injury that's required surgery. So I've been lucky. It could be a lot worse.
Now you have the undisputed title fight with Yokasta Valle. The first question I have is, were there ever moments where you thought it wasn't going to happen? Because I didn't think it was going to happen. Did you ever think like, yeah, this isn't happening?
I did think that honestly, but in the back of my mind, I knew that it would happen. It would just have to be at the right time.
Mm.
And right time is now because she has, I think this is her last fight in her golden boy contract, so there was no other way to do it but to make this fight happen now.
And do you think that that's a part of the reason that she finally took it? Because it's my understanding that you guys tried to do it before. You made an offer before, but they didn't take it. Do you think that's why now, because this is her last fight under Golden Boy, that's why she's taking it?
Yeah, definitely, I think so. Well, I don't think so, I know so. We tried to make the fight happen last July, the hand where I injured my hand, I mean the fight where I injured my hand in. And Eric Gomez told our team, no, he just straight out said no. He said not right now. So that tells you what you need to know about why they didn't make it happen then. But I'm just happy that it's happening now. Huge fight for women's boxing, and it's just great to see women's boxing just rise in the last few years. It's awesome.
Mm. And how do you evaluate her versus some of the other girls that you fought? Because you fought a lot of good fighters. You fought Annabelle Ortiz, Tenkai Tsunami, Tina Hruprecht, who I think is amazing. Where do
Mhm.
you rank Yokasta among those fighters? Do you think she's better or worse than some of them?
Um, I've faced a lot of very good opponents with different styles, like Tenkai Tsunami, like Tina, who defeated Vaya. And Tina's style is very difficult. That was a tough training camp, not just physically, but mentally, because I wanted to beat her in a way that nobody had beat her before. And that's exactly what I did. I broke her down mentally to where she couldn't do anything that she wanted to do. Um, and fighting Marlena Esparza, who's an Olympian and another good fighter. And I moved up 2 weight classes for that. So I think I have faced a lot of very good fighters stylistically. I'm not saying Yokosa's not good. I know she's aggressive, throws a lot of punches, and is going to be in great shape. But I faced many fighters who come forward and throw a lot of punches and are in great shape. But when you're not able to land punches, that's what messes them up and breaks them down, not just physically but mentally. And I think that's what I'm going to show on March 29th.
Mm. Now, as it pertains to well, what happens after that fight? Because you don't want to get ahead of yourself and look past your opponent, but at the same time, we know that there's going to be an after. We know that if you become undisputed, I think you're going to, but irrespective of that, do you plan on going back up to light flyweight?
Yeah, that's one thing that of course I have been thinking of, but not too much because of course I need to get through this fight first. But I am gonna talk to my team in Top Rank and see what our next move is. I definitely would like to fight for undisputed at light flyweight, and also even flyweight. I would love to have a rematch with Marlena Esparza because I know that'll be a huge fight. Fight fans would love to see it, and that fight deserves another go at it. So I think maybe finding out what Esparza's plans are and what her next move is, and kind of maybe talking to her team and seeing what we could do about making the rematch happen. So yeah, there's a few different options. So we'll see. I'm excited about what's next after this fight.
I have the sneaking suspicion that based on the pressure that's growing on her, that she'll probably move up because she's got Kenya Enriquez right on. She's on her tail. She's WBC interim champion. Then Gabriela Fundora just became IBF champion. How do you how do you think a fight between her and Marlene would go?
I'm sorry, Fortuna or Fortuna or
Fundora,
Fedora, sorry,
Fundora.
Fedora. Um, that's fighting Fedora is a tough fight for anybody because she's what is she? 5'9". That's like that's
That's
insane
huge for that
for a
division.
flyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a tough fight for anybody. So I think I don't know. Maybe Merlin is trying to avoid it. But but yeah, I have heard that she is planning on moving up and she wants to move up. So yeah, maybe if she vacates and moves up, I mean, I'm willing to say, hey, let's still fight anyway. Let's fight at a catch weight. You want to come in heavy? Go ahead. Like let's just make it happen. Like I want it to happen. So I mean, I moved up to weight class as a fighter the first time, and she, of course, fight night she was way heavier than me, and I just yeah, the second time around, I don't think the the weight would be something that would stop us because it didn't stop me from making it happen the first time. So I think we can come to an agreement, hopefully, and we'll see what weight that happens at.
Shout out to my man Old Dirty who says, "How many fights are left in your top rank contract?"
So I have 2 more years left with Top Rank, and it's 3 fights per year.
You could become an undisputed champion in like the next two fights, right? Because there's only two champions at light flyweight. It's only Evelyn and Jessica, and if that would be kind of crazy. Like you beat Yocasta, undisputed, then you go up two more fights, undisputed otra vez, undisputed
Hmm.
at light flyweight.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what happens between Bermudez and Plata. That way I can know what's going to happen next as far as me going to light flyweight or flyweight. But yeah, there's some good matchups for me, so I'm excited about um, moving up after.
Did you catch Kim Clavel's fight with Jessica? Because she had a real tough time with Jessica. I remember that she kept walking into those left hooks, walking into those counters. Were you surprised that Jessica was able to beat her the way that she did?
Um, I didn't watch the full fight. I caught maybe the last half. But no, I mean, I wasn't really surprised. I think Plata's a good fighter, and she fights at a certain rhythm and a certain pace. And defensively and footwork wise, I didn't think Kim Cavell would be able to, outmaneuver her and stuff. But it was a good fight, really good fight.
Really good fight. So, besides the undisputed title fight, and besides that, have you been up to anything outside of the ring? Like, say, because I remember you told me you were reading movie scripts or you were taking acting lessons, just something along those lines.
Yeah, that's what I was working on before camp, but during this whole camp, it's just been strictly training. I stopped everything else, and Undisputed is the only thing that I'm working on right now. So yeah, training camp's been pretty boring. It's just been training every day, coming home, and of course, I have certain obligations with sponsorships and stuff like that. But besides that, it's just been only training. So yeah, I'm locked in for this.
When it comes to Valle, is there anything you're doing differently for her that perhaps you didn't do for someone else? Are you treating this camp a little differently for this specific fighter?
Um, I would say the same. I'm training the same. I'm just even more locked in and more focused than any other training camp because this is the biggest fight of both of our careers. So, as far as doing anything different, I think no, I've kind of just been doing everything the same. The only thing I'm doing is trying to perfect my style and what I do as best as I possibly can. The best I have in any other fight. So just working on being the best me I can possibly be on fight night. That's what I've been working on.
Now, at the press conference, you said that there was a personal element. I saw that Valle said that for her it's not personal, that for her it's, that I think she's trying to say like you were very serious, very angry, and you said no, for you it's personal. Can you elaborate upon that? Why do you view it as personal and she doesn't?
When we did the face off with Christina Puncher in Vegas, all of a sudden she didn't say anything, in all of her interviews and all of her tweets. It's I'm ducking her, I'm scared of her, she's been trying to make the fight happen and I haven't, blah blah blah. But when we were face to face in Vegas, she didn't say any of that. And I was just like, okay, well, what happened to all this? I'm ducking, I'm scared. But I think it was because I was there in front of her face, able to defend myself and say the truth. So that was kind of surprising that she had nothing to say at the time. And yeah, but it's personal for me. I think it's no secret. Golden Boy Promotions is my ex promoter, and um, I her saying I've been ducking and scared, that makes it personal for me. This is a competition. This is a fight. Like I said during the face off, I'm not there to be friendly. I'm there to do what I have to do to promote the fight, and I'm coming in on fight night to win and take everything.
So she clammed up in a word. She kind of clammed up. They're like, it's cool to say that stuff when I'm not around, but when I'm around, now cat got your tongue. You don't got
Yeah,
nothing to
cat got
say.
her tongue. She didn't say anything, and I was just like, okay, well, I'm here to say the truth and say how everything has really gone down. And she had nothing to say, but we've both done the talking leading up to the fight, the years that I've been trying to make the fight happen. So I'm just kind of at the point now in training camp where we're 2 weeks out, and I'm ready to fight. The talking's done, and I just want to get in there.
Beat the hell out of her. I know. I know. Like you angry. You was angry at the press conference. Old dirty. Old dirty said Canelo or Mungia. Who do you believe wins?
Oh man, that's gonna be good. I'm excited about that. But man, I'm a Canelo fan. I'm gonna go for him, and I'm gonna believe in him no matter what. I still think he has a lot left in him. People doubt him and say, oh, he looked old in this fight, or he looked like shit in this fight. It's like he's winning, and when he lost, he moved up to challenge himself against a very good fighter. And I think a lot of people what they don't understand is that they don't know how difficult it is for a fighter, not just any fighter. I mean, not just Canelo, but any fighter, especially Canelo, to go into big fights back to back to back. Like, do you know what that does to your body physically and what it does to you mentally? Like, that's so hard to do. And Canelo has been doing it for so many years. For him to go into a fight, or not go into a fight with Munguia right away when all the boxing fans want him to, it's not because he's scared and not because he's hiding from it. It's because that's difficult to do. Big fights all the time. That's really hard. So. Um, I'm glad that he's accepting it, and is going to make it happen. And I think I believe in him. I think he can win. But Munguia
Yeah,
is
I mean
the tough guy.
he's successful. He's successful. So whenever somebody's successful, you see that there's always going to be a group of people that are never happy with anything. You know what I mean? That si fuera Munguia with another person, oh, they'd be happy. But because
Hmm.
it's Canelo con Munguia, oh, well, that's not good enough. I don't like it. It's just like they're malcontent. They're never really happy with anything. And it's true what you said. They're like, yo, this dude goes in a big fight at the big fight at the big fight, defending the undisputed while he's doing it. You know what I mean? And the kid deserves a lot of credit, man. He deserves a lot of credit.
Hell yeah, big time. Yeah, that's really hard to do. So, a lot of fight fans don't understand that, but they're just like you said, they just quick to criticize. Boxing fans are the worst.
I say it all the time. We're awful. Like we're never happy with anything. We argue about everything. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. You guys are miserable. Like, what did you think
Seriously.
about last week? Joshua and Ganu. Were you surprised? Is that what you were expecting to happen? That he knocked him out and made it look very easy, even though Fury struggled? with that same guy?
Yeah, yeah, I was not surprised because Joshua has a different style than Fury. Styles make fights. And Joshua is more, his punches are more compact right down the middle, where somebody like Ungano is gonna run right into them and be right there for them. And Tyson has a different style. He throws his punches in a different way. So that definitely makes a difference. So I wasn't surprised at all.
Did you feel like boxing's reputation? Because I saw a lot of people after the fight last year, a lot of the mixed martial arts community, they started getting really froggy. Start talking shit, this and that. Did it feel like for you as a fighter, did you feel like boxing's reputation was on the line in that fight and it was necessary for Anthony Joshua to knock him out?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely pressure for sure when you're going in there against an MMA fighter. And um, yeah, I mean, I think that's always the thing where now MMA fans and fighters are coming into boxing thinking that it's easy and they could easily defeat a boxer. So I'm glad that Joshua didn't let that happen.
Did you ever think about that going into like did you ever did you ever play with the idea of, maybe I'd like to wrestle. Maybe I would like to go in the octagon and beat somebody up. Or are you strictly, nah, I'm a boxer, I'm into my boxing, I'm gonna stick to my boxing.
Uh, Honestly, years ago, I did think about that. Like before I signed with Golden Boy, when like there wasn't much going on in women's boxing, of course I was getting discouraged, and I was like, should I just go over to MMA? Um, I know all the right people when it comes to MMA and the UFC, but then at the same time, I'm like, no, like I that takes years and years of hard work and wrestling and all these different things that go into it of learning to perfect and to do. And I'm just like, yeah, no, maybe not.
Yeah, I
Because
don't blame you.
if I was gonna do it, I was gonna go completely all in and all out. But um no, I'm glad I stuck to boxing.
Yeah, like I feel like there's like this rivalry, and I don't know, like sometimes I like to think, oh, it's just the fans that like to attack the other fans, but then I see the fighters doing it too, that they say this and that. I'm like, I'm surprised at the fighters more than the fans, because it's like, well, what you do is hard to do, but this is hard to do too, and you're being disrespectful about that. You know what I mean? And I see that some of the fighters in the mixed martial arts community, they regularly take shots at boxing, and it feels like like boxing is the big brother and the MMA, it's the younger sports. It's like the little brother. And the little brother's always talking shit, saying this and that. And, you got to remind him, like, hey, man, fuck you up out here, yo. You better chill out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I
Chill.
think now we see that a lot because like now it's a thing for UFC fighters to call out boxers or boxers to call out UFC fighters. So now it's like a trendy thing to do, But um, I honestly love the UFC. I'm a huge fan. I watch all the time, and I think they do such a great job when it comes to promotion and stuff like that. I get excited every time there's a big UFC card on, and every fight is exciting. And I love how um, the MMA fans are great. They treat the women just like the men. They're just as excited for a female fight as they are for if it was two men fighting. So that's really cool to see. They've been on board with that for a long time. So
Yeah, that's one thing I have to give to. I'm not a UFC fan. I can't. I'm old, and I don't want to watch anybody roll around the floor all night. On my block, if it go to the ground, they'll pick you up like, hey, get the fuck up. What the fuck? You know what I mean? So I can't get into it, but I will give Dana that he's really good at promoting all the fights on the card, the
Mhm.
women fights, the guy fights, and the fans are just excited for one as they are the other. They don't see a difference. He's very good at that.
Yeah, yeah, very good.
Shout out to Old Dirty who says Usyk versus Fury. Who are you going with, champ?
Ooh, good question. Yeah. Um, Man, I'm a Tyson Fury fan, so
I knew you were gonna say that.
I'm gonna go with Tyson Fury, but Usyk is technically he's very good and he's a very smart fighter. So um Yeah, that's gonna be a good one. That's a good question. I honestly don't know, but I'm a Tyson Fury fan, so I don't know. I guess Tyson Fury, but stylistically, that's an interesting matchup.
Tell you right now, Seniesa, put your money on Usyk. Go to DraftKings, put your money on Usyk. Okay,
All
sorry, put your money
right,
on
I'll put my
Usyk.
money on Usyk. I'm gonna. If I lose, I'm blaming you.
If you lose your money, thankfully I'm on the East Coast and you're on the West, so you can't hit me. It's very far away, very far away. You know what I'm saying? But that's a great fight too. Like as much as I dislike
Mhm,
things that Tyson Fury does, that's a great fight. That is a great fight. I just think it's
mhm.
a David and Goliath kind of deal. Like
Yeah,
I don't see what Fury does better technically than
right.
Usyk. Like what you have is size, that you're so much bigger and you weigh more. And yes, that's a challenge. But nuts and bolts boxing, I don't actually see what Fury does better than this guy. This guy's a special guy, man. This guy.
Yeah, I agree. You're right. I think it's a fight where Usyk can kind of pick him apart and box around if he fights smart like he does. So yeah, maybe I
What
put
do
my
you
money on him.
I'm telling you, and hey, if you lose, I'm too far away for you to do anything about it anyway. So, you know what I mean? What do you think about Terrence Crawford wanting to go to 168 for Canelo Alvarez? Is he crazy, or do you feel like, nah, he might have a chance?
Oh man, that is. I would like to see that. I would like to see that. I don't know. Is he serious about it?
No, he's like he's a serious dude. He's been a serious dude his whole career. He's not a big talker, not one for the how some people like to
Yeah, yeah,
carry on social media. He's not that guy. He's a serious dude. So
yeah. If he
when he
says
says
it,
that
he means it.
yeah, like if he says he wants to do it, and I'm like, like he's not your average welterweight. You know what I mean? Like he's not your average welterweight. Like nah, this guy's two-time undisputed champion. It's a bad dude. And Canelo's not a big super middleweight. He's strong
Hmm.
and sturdy, but not big, not height wise and length wise. Do you think Crawford stands a chance in that fight, or is he crazy?
Possibly, but the thing is, can he take that footwork and that movement up to 168? If he can do that, then yeah. I mean, I think it would be definitely a competitive fight. But that's that weight that you're taking up there kind of that could slow down your footwork, that could slow down your punches and your reflexes. So that's interesting.
You fought at three weights before. You've moved up and down in weight. I remember you used to have to because you couldn't get opponents. That's what I remember. That you had to
Hmm.
go to higher weights. Did you feel the difference in the power? Like yeah, these girls they hit a lot harder. They can take a better punch. Is that the way that it was?
Yeah, definitely being able to take a better punch because obviously they're heavier physically and they're used to fighting girls their weight class, so they can absorb punches better. Um, and yeah, even moving up to 112 is was difficult because I walk around at 112. So it's like, that's not a natural weight class for me. That's what I'm walking around at. Um, but of course, in the beginning of my career, I had to do that so many times. I was fighting at 112, 115, fighting girls who were bantamweights. And it was difficult. But because of my defense and footwork and fighting smart, I was able to win.
I wanted to ask you about that too. Because of the injury, was being ambidextrous, did that help? That you can fight orthodox, that you can fight southpaw like shit, this hand hurts. Let me, you know what I'm saying? Let me switch. Did that help?
Definitely, yes, it helped a lot. Being able to switch and just being able to to move and use footwork, but at the same time, like I could have made that fight extremely boring for the next 8 rounds because my hand was injured, and I could have boxed and moved and just said, "Oh, I'm gonna play it safe and win every round easily just by moving." But my opponent was a counterpuncher. She doesn't come
Yeah.
forward. So I thought to myself, okay, I have a hurt hand that I can't use. When I try to use it, it fucking hurts. And when I try to use it, there's just no effect on it at all. So if I move away, it's gonna be a boring fight. Crowd's gonna start booing. So I said, fuck it, I'm gonna go forward and just try to make this a fight, you know. Um, and that's what I did. Yeah, I
Yeah,
probably
Yudika's a
got.
mover, man. She likes to hang back. She likes to
Mhm.
move lateral, hang
Yeah,
back, stay behind it. So it's just like that. Like, yeah, that's how she
right.
fights. She don't come forward. She don't step into the jab. She just moves
No.
around, moves
And
away.
her trainer said it before the fight when somebody was interviewing him. They're like, "Are you guys going to try to knock Seniesa out?" And he's like, "No, because she's fought at heavier weight classes. She can take a good punch. We're just going to fight the way we always fight, and that's just moving." So that's what she did. And yeah, so I remember thinking to myself in the second round and the third round, like, I just got to fucking go forward because if I don't, this is going to be just a ridiculously boring fight. So I did what I could, and yeah.
No, it was an exciting fight because nothing against Shakur and some other fighters, but it's like, yeah, that happens, man. That because he was hurt. That's what they're saying now. That in his last fight with the Dominican kid De Los Santos, he was hurt in the fight, or he went in hurt, and that's why the fight was boring. And they're all over. They was jumping all over him like, oh, this shit is boring. Da 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 da. So it's like it's a trade off that yeah, you can win and you can win boring, but your stock is going to take a hit because then people are going to be like, "Oh, I don't want to see that dude fight. When I seen that dude fight, it was boring."
Yeah, that's that's the one thing that went through my mind. I was like, okay, nobody really likes women's boxing anyway. Like there's a lot of people who are watching right now who probably don't like women's boxing. So am I gonna, if I make this extremely boring, then people really aren't gonna want to watch. So at that moment, like women's boxing was going through my head. I'm like, okay, like do what you can to just make this exciting, even if that means that you get hit a little more than you normally do. Like at least do what do what you can to make it exciting for the crowd, especially that being my first headliner with Top Rank. um I didn't want to disappoint. Unfortunately, the disappointment was in my injury, but um, I didn't want to make the fight even more disappointing.
Yeah, do you feel that weight whenever like do you feel that weight going into a fight like, "Yo, dog, I got to put on." The guys, they can afford to have a little stinker every so often, but I can't because they banking on me, they invested in me. I got to go out here and put on a show. Do you feel that weight all the time?
Yeah, definitely, I do, and I think not just myself, but all female fighters do when we step into the ring anytime because we need to show and prove that we're good, that we're exciting, that we're skilled. So I know that is not just in the back of my mind, but in all female fighters.
What did you think about? I know you're cool with Michaela. I know you're cool with Michaela. Michaela's last fight, she fought Natasha Jonas. Just give it to me straight. What do you think won? What did you think about the decision?
Straight out, I thought Michaela won. I thought she won. Um, and not just because she's my friend. I mean, there's so many people who thought she won. I think the crowd there even was surprised. I think she showed that she was pushing the fight, that she wanted to win. She showed she was pushing Jonas back. She even seemed like she might have had her hurt a couple times too.
Yeah.
And I think that was just a very, very bad decision. But it's not surprising being in the person's hometown.
Is that scary for you as a fighter? Like, is that something that fighters think about? They're like, yo, dog, I ain't trying to go over here and beat their ass and then they get a decision. You know what I mean? Is that something you thought about in the beginning, or is that something you still think about now? Like, nah, I gotta make it emphatic because I ain't trying to get robbed out here.
Yeah, that's something that I've always thought about, and something that my trainer has always thought about, and that's why we always said, we're whenever we want to fight a champion, we're bringing them here. We don't need to go there,
Mm.
unless they're going to pay me this crazy amount of money, which doesn't happen. Um, then there's no reason to go there. But of course, that's not the case for all women. But I'm just glad that we're able to bring those champions to me so that they fight me here because otherwise, there's really no reason to go to someone else's hometown.
Yeah, that's a big part of why I've your victory over Marlene. Who Marlene's a good fighter. She is a good fighter. But that's why your victory over her really impressed me, because if you look at the fighters that she's fought after that, right? Those fights were close, and I'm gonna be honest, some of those girls got robbed. You know, about Zamora Silva. Look at what just happened with Gabriela Alanis. That it's like, yo, that Seniesa beat her, and beat her in a way where she didn't get screwed and she didn't get jobbed, that makes it that much more impressive, because a lot of other girls have tried since then and they ain't getting no luck. You know what I mean? Like the Abeth Zamora Silva fight, I remember people were complaining. The
Hmm.
Gabriela Alanis fight, people were complaining. The Naoko Fujioka fight, otra vez, people are complaining. It's like, yo, dog, like Senicia beating her the way she did, it's even more impressive, because it's like, yeah, it's like one of those things that aged well, because it's like, yo, dog,
Yeah.
she, I don't think she's a bad fighter. I don't want to just give her a bad rap like she's not any good, Marlon, right? But
Yeah.
it's just, you can see that, like, yeah, you're getting a lot of consideration, in
Hmm.
these decisions. You're getting a lot,
But and those were all in Texas, right? Her hometown.
Yeah, all of
Yeah. Exactly. I remember every each fight, each of those fights when I heard that the location was going to be Texas, I was like, "Ah, Merlin already won. Doesn't matter what the opponent does, she already won." And Texas is one of the worst places when it comes to like judging and um even in the amateurs. And I remember when I was in the amateurs, Texas judges were always just so bad.
no,
And
it's still that way. I'm all throughout all these decades. It's like, and I
mhm.
think she's a great fighter. I mean, like, yeah, she's great. Like, to say that she's not, it wouldn't be fair.
No, she's good. She's very good at what she does. Definitely.
But she's also very, very fucking lucky. Like, she's
Hmm.
very lucky. Like, I personally feel like I would like to see y'all run it back, because you're both very accomplished. She's Unified Ring Magazine and Lineal up there, and you're doing what you're doing. You're a two division champion, currently unified. I believe you're going to beat Yo Costa. I don't want to sound presumptuous, but I think you're going to make it look easy. There's levels. You guys have like five common opponents. I think you're going to beat her easy. Whereas you and Marlene, I feel that would be more competitive. The only caveat is that I don't think she's going to stay there. Between Kenya and Gabriella, they're going to chase her up they're going to run her out of that division, is what I think is going to happen. Especially
Yeah,
Kenya.
that seems to be the case because she hasn't fought, and this next fight where she's supposed to have the rematch has been canceled due to another visa issue. So that's
Yeah.
twice that it's been canceled. So yeah, I don't really know what's going on and what her plans are, but I definitely will find out, and my dad and I will be the first to let you know what we find out, and if it happens, if we can make it happen. So we'll see.
Yeah. I was a little bit surprised that she was, cuz I had already heard months ago she was moving up. I already heard months ago, like, she's probably going to move up. So then it's like, well, then, right, why run it back with Gabriella, you know what I mean? Like, what would be the point?
What's the point of that exactly?
Why run it back? Just, cough up the belt and just, go do your thing. There's four champions at super flyweight too. So, some are better than others, some are older than others, but it's a
Hmm.
good division. It's a good division. There's some good unbeaten girls coming through. So on to trivia. What is the best movie you've seen in the last 12 months? Because a lot of movies suck now. A lot of them.
In
What's
the
one
last
movie you've
12
seen in the
months.
last 12 months that you would recommend?
Oh, the Elvis movie. That was my fave. Yeah, I loved it. I rewatched it over and over after seeing it in the theater. But yeah, I thought Austin Butler did an amazing job playing Elvis, and my dad's a big Elvis fan. My trainer's a big Elvis fan, and I love Elvis. So uh, yeah, my cape is inspired by Elvis because my trainer's such a huge Elvis fan. So that's definitely a movie that I thought was amazing.
What's a TV show, or something on a Netflix, something on a Hulu? If
Mhm.
you watch those things, what's like a series on there that you would recommend? Like, hey, this is good. You should watch this shit.
Okay, I've been watching Love is Blind just because, like, when I'm like training for a fight, I'm just like so mentally exhausted that like I want to watch a show that's just like stupid, you know? It's so stupid, but it's so good. And I get hooked on it and I can't wait for the next episode to come out. So, Love is Blind is definitely a show that just makes me laugh.
My wife has me watching that thing. Like I've seen it, and I'm like, yo, this shit is what they say anything in them pods. They'll say it. Like, yeah, I feel like I know you. Oh my god! And then they get in front. It's like the whole shit changes. It's like, yo, this shit is wild, b.
It's so funny.
Shit is wild. What? All right, now music. What is a song, if there is one, on the radio right now that's on your playlist that you would recommend to anyone?
Kane Brown. I love country music, and Kane Brown is one of my favorites. So, um, Kane Brown's whole new album is on my playlist, and I listen to country music just about every day.
Okay, Kane Brown. Let me think. This is one I've never asked you, but it seems like I have, but I haven't. What's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday is Thanksgiving. Yeah, just I mean, can't go wrong with Thanksgiving.
The food, man.
Food all day, just chilling, hanging out with family, watching football. So Thanksgiving for sure.
Okay, let me think. Another trivia question. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
To teleport because I live in LA and traffic freaking sucks every single day. So if I could just like teleport to the gym and teleport back home so I'm not in traffic for a whole hour, that would be amazing.
I'd use it to rob banks personally, so that wouldn't be a good power for me. Use it to rob. It's got to be real. Like if I'm going to teleport, I'm going to really teleport. What do you think about the influx of fights that are now going to Saudi Arabia? I see a lot of boxers have different opinions about this. Some boxers they think it's good because all the money. Other boxers feel that it's taking fights away from domestic markets. What's your reaction to these big fights happening there instead of America or in the UK? What's your reaction?
um Honestly, I think any fighter who says they have a problem with it or it's taken away from fights here hasn't been offered millions of dollars to go there because if I was offered, I would take it. So that's what I think about
Yo,
it.
yo, that's the same shit I said. I literally yesterday I
No
did a
fighter is
little.
gonna deny, is gonna say no.
Exactly like, yo, here, Seniesa, we want to pay you $4 million to fight. Like, yeah, of course you're gonna take it, dog. Like, of course, bro. Like, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, I would go to the airport right now and just wait there.
Like, yeah, I'm ready. Like, look, cause I see different people are having different reactions to. As a fan, personally, I think it's great because we're getting the fights, and a lot of these fights we wouldn't even be getting them at all because the fighters want so much money, but the networks are only willing to put up so much. So these guys coming in and giving them the money to do it, it's like, oh, it's perfect. We're gonna get the fight. But I've seen fighters the last couple of months, some of them oh, it's taking the fights away from the grassroots. I'm like, what are you talking about, dog? You just mad they ain't offer you no money yet.
Yeah. If
Just
when they get
mad.
that offer, that's all out the window.
Exactly. Like, yeah, it's the greatest, yo. I love Saudi. Shout out to Saudi. You know what I'm saying? Like, happy and all of that. So look, it's been great talking to you. Wish you nothing but the best. I know you're gonna win. I should probably put some money on DraftKings on you. I'm just wondering, is it gonna be a knockout or a decision? Because like she ain't ever been knocked out, so I give her that credit. Tough, she's a tough lady. But I'm confident you're gonna win. Always good talking to you. Oh wait, we got a question before we go. Got a question. Uh, the Spit Bucket podcast asked 12 3-minute rounds in women's boxing is ready for it as a whole, or do you think it possibly widens the gap between the contenders and the elite?
So I'm all for 3-minute rounds. Esparza and I went 3-minute rounds in our fight, and it was extremely entertaining. We were both at very high skill levels, so I think us fighting 3-minute rounds was perfect because I was able to implement my game plan and break her down just as I thought I would and I knew I would. And I mean, I wanted to do 3-minute rounds since I first turned pro, even if I wasn't getting paid much. For my first fights in the professionals, I wasn't getting paid anything. If anything, I was walking away sometimes with $200, $500. But even then, I still wanted to go 3-minute rounds because that's the fighter in me. I think that's what's going to show people how skilled women are. And I think how skilled some women are. I think at a
Yeah.
certain level, like let's say me, Clarissa, Amanda, Katie, Michaela, um, those at that level should be able to decide if they want to do 3 minute rounds or not. It doesn't have to be for everybody, but
Yeah, it should. I think it should be title fights that are anything,
mhm.
any fight that's for a title, if they want to. But for some reason, I don't really understand the WBC, to be honest. I don't know what they problem. Like, bro, y'all literally made up a division, right, between cruiserweight and heavyweight. Y'all literally made up a franchise title. Y'all now y'all want to use six judges in Usyk versus Fury. Six judges, but you have a problem with 12 3-minute rounds. That don't even make sense, bro.
I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense at all. And like, it's like I can't even talk about it because they refuse to take any new information in or do any type of new study. They're stuck on blocking everybody else's opinion and what they have to say about it. So I don't know. It's impossible. But
Yeah, yeah, don't get yourself in trouble. I'll talk shit. I'll talk shit. I could say all the spicy shit that they can't strip me of a belt because I don't have one. So I could talk all the shit in the world.
but
But
to to finish with that, there's also women who don't want to fight 3 minute rounds because they want to get paid more. So I've heard Clarissa say that before, and a few others. So that's something that also can stop it from happening, is because of that. But I don't care about the money. I just want to do 3 minute rounds.
I mean, I think it should be nuanced because a part of the renaissance that women boxers have experienced is because the fights are action packed. The things that they don't like about the men's fights are like, y'all motherfuckers is just circling and circling, right? Women's boxing offered a breath of fresh air because you had two fighters, the good fighters, they get right to it. No fucking around, no playing around. They go right at it. And that's what helped sell it, I would say, from 2020 till now, like the Shannon Courtney versus Ebony Bridges fight, the Terry Harper versus Natasha Jonas fight, that those was fucking wars, Amanda and
Hmm.
Katie. That was a fucking
You
war,
have to go
right?
to war because you only have 2 minutes. So yeah, and then like that's the 2 minutes is what makes it difficult for judges to judge a fight. If you notice, I don't know if you've noticed, or if you go on BoxRec, so many women have draws on the record. Why is that? Because
Yes,
2 minutes are hard to judge. They're just clashing, clashing. Trying to make it as not just exciting as possible, but trying to land as many punches as possible in those 2 minutes, and that can also lead to bad decisions. If Michaela's fight versus Jonas was 3 minutes, that would have separated everything.
I agree with that. I do. I think if it was 3 minutes, Michaela was gonna stop her. I saw her hurt Natasha Jonas like two times, and I'm like, if Michaela would have had that other minute in that round, she might have got stopped. Like she would have stopped Natasha. She would have stopped her. Yeah. Yeah, no progress, man. Like I think
Yeah.
it should be for title fights. That's what if it were up to me, not every fight, not every fighter, but title fights. Like, all right, this title fight, so either it could be 10 threes or 12 twos. Cause I saw Kaylee Reese, shout out to Kaylee Reese. She pitched that idea that like it could be
Hmm.
12 2-minute rounds or 10 3-minute rounds. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
like that idea. It's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well,
It's a
look,
great idea.
I don't want to take up
Thank you
no more
so
of your time. I know
much.
you're busy. Thanks for coming on. Nothing but the best.
Anytime. Thank you.